Dear friends, welcome again to the Faraway village where life is buzzing. Here, we're surrounded by animals we care for, and they care for us in return. Milk, our universal food, is the main sustenance for the offspring of both animals and humans alike. Milk is not only essential for child development, but also a fantastic base for countless dairy products. I mean, where do I even begin? You already know. Today, we'll prove once again that milk is irreplaceable, especially when it comes to dairy delights like cottage cheese, or as we call it in Azerbaijan, kasmik. Make sure Faraway Village is on your YouTube subscription list because, let's face it, when you're in the mood for something calming yet intriguing with tons of tasty recipes, you know exactly where to go. Traditionally, kasmik is a beloved dairy product similar to cottage cheese or quark. Made by curdling milk and draining the whey, it forms a creamy, slightly tangy cheese that can range from crumbly to smooth, depending on how it's made. Fresh dairy products like cottage cheese likely originated as a way to preserve milk, extending its shelf life and creating a nutritious portable food. While my wife's busy mastering the cheese, I've got a fun task on my hands. I bet you're wondering what I mean by fun. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell icon. It's only a few clicks, and I promise you'll love what's coming next. Once the milk is boiled and reached the perfect temperature, we introduce a fermenting agent to get the process going. This ingredient helps kickstart fermentation, transforming the milk into a smooth, creamy yogurt-like texture. The right fermenting agent is key to achieving that perfect consistency and flavor, which will define the final product. The journey to the final product takes time, but trust me, it's worth the wait. In the meantime, check out our Instagram for some short, fun reels. Just scan the QR code and enjoy. Now that the milk's boiled, we're starting the fermentation process. My wife will separate it into smaller portions for easier fermentation. Once the milk reaches a warm 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, we add the souring agent, stir gently, and make sure everything's mixed well. Now the fun part I'm talking about. Yes, I am making a scarecrow. In Azerbaijan, Making scarecrows, known as korkulak, is a long-standing tradition with both practical and cultural roots. Farmers use them to protect their crops from birds and other animals, but they also have symbolic meanings. If you're enjoying this journey with us, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. You'll get all the behind-the-scenes fun, quick recipes, and updates straight to your feed. Just scan the QR code and let's stay connected. Now we need to let these buckets sit for a bit while the curds set. My wife covers them with a warm blanket to trap the heat, mimicking the natural conditions needed for the curds to thicken evenly. Let's talk about scarecrows for a minute. Different countries have their own unique takes on these agricultural guardians. In Japan, they're known as kakashi, and some of them are so elaborate they're basically works of art, with intricate clothing and faces. Meanwhile, in the UK, scarecrows often become part of village festivals where people compete to create the most creative designs. In Turkey, scarecrows are made with bundles of straw and are often dressed in old clothes, believed to ward off evil spirits as well as birds. But no matter where you go, the main goal is always the same: keeping the crops safe while adding a little local flair. The clotted cream that forms on top of the milk during fermentation is carefully collected into a separate container. This rich, creamy layer is perfect for making butter, adding a smooth texture and a bit of indulgence to any dish. But fermentation itself is fascinating. Around the world, different cultures have their own unique methods. In India, for example, dahi, a fermented yogurt, is a staple, while in Eastern Europe, they make smetana, a sour cream that's the foundation for countless dishes. Fermentation not only preserves the milk, but also enriches it with beneficial probiotics, making it a nutrient-packed treat. It's a tradition that stood the test of time, turning simple milk into something extraordinary. Ever wondered where the idea of stuffing scarecrows with hay came from? It's not as simple as you might think. Some say it started with the need to fill them out, while others claim it was about creating a lifelike appearance to keep the birds away. Pretty bizarre, right? The fermented milk now goes into a pot for boiling. This helps speed up the curdling process by making the protein separate from the liquid, so we get the curds faster and easier to collect.
Mom, yeah. These are what hot.
Now, we're going to use our kasmik in a special way, transforming it into something beloved and revered all over the world, the Georgian Nigerian hachapuri. This dish is essentially a boat-shaped masterpiece, filled with a generous amount of cheese, and there's no better cheese for it than our homemade kasmik. The rich creaminess and tangy flavor of kasmik will elevate this iconic dish to a whole new level. Imagine biting into the soft golden dough and tasting that perfect balance of creamy cheese filling.
Burada dur. Nav kozma.
You might be thinking, these people are always working with no time to relax, right? Well, it's not quite like that. Sure, life in the village has its tasks, but it's not about rushing from one thing to the next. In fact, living in the village gives you a different kind of rhythm, one that's all about staying connected with nature and keeping yourself occupied with meaningful activities. It's the sort of lifestyle where time spent outdoors, whether working or just enjoying the surroundings, becomes second nature. And believe me, setting up a scarecrow is a lot more fun than it sounds. It's just another way we embrace the simple joys of rural life. Let's get to it. Now begins the first part of the cheese-making process. She covers the basin with gauze and pours the fermented milk over it to separate the curds from the whey.
Yani svetna. Biraz da hazır mı senin?
Afterward, she wraps the curds tightly in the gauze to keep them secure. We hang the gauze with the curds in the open air. This helps the curds firm up properly, and the fresh air gives them the perfect texture. If you're still on the hunt for top-quality knives, check out our collection by scanning the QR code. Perfect for all your culinary needs. Look at this soft, creamy, and crumbly texture. It's like a little piece of heaven, isn't it? A quick note on Ajarian hachapuri. This cheesy masterpiece is perfect for any occasion. You won't find a better comfort food anywhere. As she spreads the cheese onto the dough, shaping the edges to enclose it, let's talk about the unique process of forming this delicious boat-shaped hachapuri. It's both an art and a science. She grates some additional cheese on top. This one's a bit different from the homemade variety. It's slightly yellow and likely contains more fat, making it extra creamy. Speaking of which, do you know why Georgians came up with the boat shape for their hachapuri? It's said to represent the Black Sea.
Maşallah, nabzır pünik.
Now, as she finishes shaping the hachapuri, we can talk about the beauty of being part of humanity, sharing recipes passed down through generations. Imagine an old Georgian woman years ago making this dish in her kitchen. It's more than just food, it's heritage. After placing the hachapuris in the oven, bake until they develop a golden crust. The dough should be firm but not overdone. While waiting, let's brew black tea with wild strawberries. I love collecting them in the village. They're a real treat.
این موقع خنک سکه خدا جور
Historically, the use of egg yolks in ajari and hachapuri dates back to ancient times, when eggs were considered a symbol of fertility and prosperity. In Georgia, a country with a deep connection to agricultural traditions, eggs were often used not just for their nutritional value, but also for their symbolic importance. By adding egg yolks to the hachapuri, the dish becomes a celebration of life, richness, and abundance. This practice likely emerged from the region's ancient pagan customs, where eggs were seen as a powerful symbol of renewal and life cycles. Now that our hachapuris are ready, we set the table and dig in. There's nothing quite as rewarding as cooking a meal from scratch with ingredients you've nurtured on your own land. It gives you a deep sense of independence.
А тут нечина хачапури дика за ширинча. Bismillah. I know it. أنا ملهم تانوا.
Thanks for joining us on this delicious journey through the heart of village life. It's been a pleasure sharing these traditions and recipes with you.
Ja.
Don't forget to spread the love, like, and share. And of course, we'll be back with more stories and recipes. Until next time, stay curious and keep enjoying the simple joys of life.